Welcome back to the Course Creation Incubator. I'm Gina Onativia, online course coach and consultant. And as always, my hope is that with this podcast, I inspire you a little bit to get your course done to welcome your first students through the door. Today, I want to talk about how to turn your students into raving fans and ultimately get them across the finish line with your course. Because here's the deal, just because they buy your course, it doesn't mean your students are going to necessarily finish your course. I know, it's kind of sad, right? In fact, lots of students never make it to the end of their courses, and it's just a sad, sad truth. And I remember when I worked for Tony Robbins, and we would find out the statistics of folks who bought, at the time, physical products and people who wouldn't even have taken the products out of the box. So today, I want to talk about how you can keep them engaged, how you can get them to open the box, right? Log into your course, get excited for your material so that they finish, they feel the huge wins, the transformation, and become raving fans. They go from students, curious students, wanting knowledge, to raving fans, and ultimately ambassadors for you and your brand. Now, that raving fan concept is something I first heard about when I was working for Tony Robbins. I worked in what was called the creative department, which was really code for content development. And I got to work a lot with the marketing department. And we were constantly asking ourselves, how do we create raving fan customers? What kind of experience do we need to create to make that happen? You want raving fans because you want them to be your passionate community. That's the ambassadors I was talking about a minute ago. It's so important because you really want to deliver for them. Another thing we'd say is under promise, over deliver. That's exactly what you want to do with your course. Then down the road, you're going to engage them in other offers. They become your best buyers. It is way easier to engage current customers in other offers than to acquire new ones. I was looking at this Forbes article the other day, and it was saying that it can cost 5 times more to attract a new customer than it does to retain an existing one. And here's another great stat. Increasing customer retention rates by 5% increases profits by 25% to 95%, according to research done by Frederick Richeld of Bain & Company. All of these are great reasons why we're focused on this today. So let's dive into 5 ways to make sure your students become raving fan customers and get across your finish line, because I want to make sure that your hard work is all worth it. Number 1, engage them from the get-go, which means when you're doing a launch or a promotion and they've bought into your online course, they've checked out via your checkout page, and then they get that confirmation email. From the get-go, right there, that first interaction with them as a student, you're engaging them and telling them how excited you are that they've joined and what to do next. You want to tell them exactly step by step from the beginning what to expect and what to be excited about. Set them up for success. Here's your login. Here's when modules be released if you're going on drip week by week. Here's when your live calls will be if you're doing live calls. Here's some pre-work to get started if you're doing pre-work. Engage them in the experience and make sure that they're getting started on the right foot. I was chatting with a company the other day who wanted to improve their upfront engagement experience, specifically upping their logins to a bonus course that they were offering for a virtual event. Now, the trouble was they didn't frame the course bonus in the right way and talk about how that course bonus worked with the overall program. So all of a sudden, their students are getting an email to log in, and they have no idea what they're logging into. No one's excited from the get-go. No one even knows what they're looking at. So I think their engagement with this bonus was about 5%. Now that's lousy because these students didn't have context. No one got them excited. They didn't get them engaged from the get-go. So again, make sure there's a seamless transition from when you have sold them to when you welcome them. Okay, number 2, provide a clear and easy experience when your students log in. This can be as simple as when they get into your course, they get into your site and they see start here. You'll see this with some physical products, which I love. So I've been reminiscing about my Tony Robbins days. Back in those days, we'd have the physical products. You'd open up the box and there on top would be an envelope with a sticker in red that said start here. Because that box was absolutely crammed with goodies, but you wanted your student to start with a welcome letter and set them up to win, and then explain all the other great stuff you're getting. It's the same with online. You want to have something that signals this is the place that you're supposed to start. This is step one. Make it as easy as possible for them to know what to do, what the first step should be. Because part of starting a course is all about the excitement that bubbles up, and they really want to get started and dive in. So it's our job as course creators to tell them what to do and to guide them through the process so they don't feel that overwhelm off the bat, so they're not feeling frustrated. We want to hold on to that excitement as long as possible. So start here can mean a welcome video, and in that welcome video, you reinforce why they've bought. Here's the promise. This is what I'm going to deliver for you. This is why now is a great time to do this course. You need this now. And then most important, you're going to walk through how your online course works. So you might say to them, you're going to go through and see a series of videos. With each video, you'll see an action plan or whatever you have with your PDF downloads. Then you might see a companion audio. Explain every piece of the flow to them so they know what to expect and how to go through it. I think sometimes we think, by the way, that this is obvious. Gina, I've put it out there. Come on. Don't they know how to log into a course and go through it? You'd be surprised how many times I hear from students that they got lost or they didn't know where to start. Remember, your student is excited. They can't wait to get started. We've got to navigate them and orient them. It's like the first day of school where you don't know where to go. You don't know where your classroom is, right? We want to show where the classroom is. We want them to feel great from the get-go and like they own the place and they can walk in with confidence. By the way, another component you can do to enhance the first-time experience is add an orientation video where you are literally walking through the site. So I'm a Mac girl, so I would do this on ScreenFlow. If you're on a PC, you might do it on Camtasia, or you guys can do it on Loom, and you're walking through how your course works. So my course platform of choice is Kajabi. So I'll have the Kajabi platform, the course site up, and I'm walking through, hey, here's your videos, here's your downloads, here's the sequence that I want you to walk through this site as a student. We did a course for a dear friend, JR Reed, and he had 2 videos for each lesson, his core videos and then his action videos. With the action videos, you got your homework, and it was very important to explain that because not a lot of programs are built that way. So up front, we want to explain it so students didn't get confused. Okay, final point on this is nomenclature. So whether you're calling your downloads PDFs, homeworks, downloads, be consistent. Tell them up front what to expect, and make sure your language is consistent throughout the course so they know what they're doing and they can follow along with you. Again, clear expectations experience from the start. Okay, number 3, here's another way to keep your students engaged and coming back for more. Give them a series of small wins throughout your course. Now, sometimes online programs can feel a little overwhelming, and it's our job as course creators to make things feel more simple and clear so it doesn't feel overwhelming. And we also want them to feel a sense of progress. Amy Porterfield does a really great job of this. I know in one course, and I'm not sure if she's doing this anymore, but she told her students to go into her Facebook group, into her Facebook community, and post their Game On song. Now, that's a great small win. They feel a sense of progress regardless of what their content is. So think about how you can give them a small sense of progress right off the bat. Remember, they're excited, right? They can't wait to be here. You want to give them a celebration that they could do off the bat. Make sure that they feel the confidence that they can get this done. Okay, 4th idea to create raving fans is giving them accountability. I was talking to one client and she has accountability partners, which I love. If you have a smaller group or have a Facebook group community, I absolutely want you to do this. Whatever it is, your students need an opportunity to connect with you, with peers, with other members, and students. That feedback loop is so important to hold them accountable and make them feel, again, that sense of progress. Think about how you're going to give them that kind of accountability. And then finally, number 5, flexibility. This is kind of my wild card. So whenever you're building your course, you want to build in some flexibility in adding pieces or taking pieces away. So for example, we worked on a course where there was a lesson with a very intense exercise all about forgiving the past and your exes. There might be a lot of tears with this lesson, okay? It was heavy. And so in the next video, the 2 women who were building the course, they cheered. They had glasses of wine, they were dressed up, and they made this casual video on their phone to say, congratulations, you made it. Now, we didn't plan for that months in advance. We realized as we were building out the course, this is kind of a heavier lesson. This is deep. We need to lighten it up right after it. right? Let them laugh, let them celebrate so they're not stuck in that intense moment, in that deep moment. It was something that we realized we needed once folks started going through the course. Now, I've done that with my clients and accelerator members. Every time we go through the accelerator, I'm learning what people want, or specifically what kind of different things they need, and I add that content to the course. Keep that in mind that you might want to add videos, audio, PDFs, whatever your course students are asking for to give them encouragement as they go through the course. I know one course creator that every time she launches, she adds a module or she adds a bonus to her course, because every time she launches, inevitably, she gets student feedback that then has her revise her course and adds things that students are asking for. I love that. Your course is a living, breathing thing. She might take modules away, she might add them, but she knows that she's responding to what her students truly need. So the bottom line is be flexible, be willing to change it up, and just go for it in terms of your courses. Okay, let's do one final bonus. I don't want to let you guys go yet. Let's talk about surprises. And I think surprises add tremendous value for your students and show them that you appreciate them and you want to go above and beyond. Remember, we're going to underpromise and overdeliver. When I'm talking about surprises, what I'm saying is that these aren't found on your sales page. They're not in your emails. They're not found until your student logs into your course. Now, you can plan these surprises ahead of time and have worked them out, but your students just don't know they exist yet. There are a few surprises I really love. The first is unannounced content, so PDFs or video trainings, extra stuff that is still relevant to the course that you thought, maybe I'll just add this later for whatever reason. Maybe it wasn't done yet. Maybe it's not directly tied to the transformation. Whatever the reason is, you put it in there as an extra special training. You announce it later when it's ready to go. I love that kind of surprise. Another one is something that could be special, like from the archives, that doesn't necessarily have to do with the core content you have inside of your course. Once upon a time, I had the great honor of working on a course about John Wooden, the legendary UCLA coach. We did a 10-module course on him and his life philosophies, and we found some wonderful archival footage of him directing practices and stuff like that we put into the course. Now, it wasn't directly related to the content. There wasn't a transformation involved or anything like that. It was just a sweet, nostalgic piece that we thought could raise the emotion, could really raise the game of connection here in terms of the students and the course. So we put in that archival footage of John Wooden, and then we also had this lovely audio from his wife, Nellie, which was so sweet. John and Nellie were married for 53 years. He wrote her a love letter every month. So it was just something nice to surprise students inside of that course. So if you have these kind of emotional pieces, they don't necessarily go with the content, but put them in there. Just frame why you're putting them in there because of the emotion that goes along with it, because you thought the students might enjoy it. Inevitably, folks inside that John Wooden course love John Wooden, and anything to do with him, an extension of him, they were going to enjoy. So don't be afraid to put in some of those pieces that aren't necessarily educational. They're entertainment, right? They're emotional value. Don't discount that. The third way that you can add a surprise piece is an additional training for questions that come up. So I know that's happened with some of our course clients or our accelerator students where they get questions that come up as students as they're taking the course. They'll add additional trainings to help them with the questions. So it might have been a hole that was left in the course that you might not have realized to begin with. So say you're doing a social media course, and that to me is a constant evolution. You can do updates and different trainings for questions or new features that come up. That's a great way to do a surprise. And by the way, this is in no way meant to be an exhaustive list. There's lots of different surprises that you could do with your courses. You can leave me comments or reach out to me on Instagram at Course Creation Boutique and let me know the surprises you've done in your course or seen in other courses. I would love to hear your suggestions. Another way to do surprises is with contests, where you're announcing that you're going to do a giveaway. Say the most engaged student in your group is going to win a prize. Maybe they get a one-on-one with you. So my coaching client, Susie, her course is Mastering Newborn Sleep. And I remember for one launch, she had just come back from Gearapalooza, which is a lot of baby products are involved there. And she got all kinds of free stuff to give away. So she had a few little engagement requirements, like do this homework or update the group with your progress. And she gave these baby items away to her community who engaged most with the course. Now, I love these kind of surprises because your community is not anticipating it. They're not even expecting it. It's just an added bonus. Thank you for being a valued student. So that's another way to do it, with prizes, giveaways, contests. So my challenge for you is to think about how you can surprise your students. And by the way, this doesn't have to be with your courses. It could be in your content as well, or on social media. All right, I'll see you next week. Please, please, please rate and review this episode, especially if you're listening on iTunes, and then subscribe wherever or however you're listening so you don't miss one course creation tip. Don't forget to connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at Course Creation Boutique for both of those. I'd love for you to engage. I would love to hear what your questions are, your frustrations, your comments. Bring it on. Until then, go create, be you and be brilliant, and get it done.